Hey, what's good, family? This is Ryan Jackson from Ryan Jackson LLC. Hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. Hope you had a blessed and wonderful weekend as well. Um, it was cool out here last night. I think that with fall, I think fall starts next week. So we're in the last days of summer. So we're going into the fall season. So I noticed that it's getting darker earlier, and that the weather is getting a little cooler. So we're going into the fall season. But nevertheless, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you had a great and safe weekend. And in the likelihood, we all know what they say about Monday, but we're not going to put that energy out there. But we all know, that we're human and we have those moments. And if you are on today, always remember this: tough times don't last, tough people do. Keep your hope, trust, and faith in Allah, God, and He will see you through. I could definitely bear witness to that. So, get into the topic for this video. Yesterday afternoon, there was a second assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump. This was at his see here, Trump International West Palm Beach golf club. He was there golfing, and a Secret Service agent noticed a gun barrel coming from the bushes, from the shrubbery surrounding the golf course, and he opened fire. And thank the good Lord that he noticed that, because I think they said Trump was 500 yards away, which is um, 5 football fields. So, but he was golfing, and the Secret Service agent noticed, this barrel of a gun protruding from the bushes, and opened fire. And from what's been reported, there weren't any shots. He didn't. The suspect didn't return fire. He ran off, got into his vehicle, drove off, and was pursued, was arrested in a nearby county. I think the next county over from Palm Beach County. A witness gave the law enforcement the license plate, make and model of the car, the vehicle, what have you, and they were able to get him in the next county over. So the suspect name is Ryan Wesley Routh. He is 58 years old. He has to share my first name. Wow. Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old. He's from North Carolina, but he lived in Hawaii for the last few years. So my question is this: this man lived in Hawaii for the last few years. What the hell was he doing in Florida, in West Palm Beach? How did he know where Trump was going to be? Was where Trump was going to be at? How did he know that Trump was going to be golfing? Where did he know to position himself? He had a GoPro camera. He had food. Had a AK-47. He had been camping out. Reports say for 12 hours in the shrubbery. How was he able to get onto the grounds of that golf course? Isn't there security there? Isn't there cameras? How was he able to do this? How did he know that Trump was going to be golfing at this time? I'm sure that Trump doesn't put his schedule out there like that. Speaking, yeah, when he goes to speaking engagements, goes to rallies, of course, but not when he's golfing. That's his own personal private time. So something's not adding up. How was this man able to get that access to the former president? This is the second assassination attempt in 2 months, almost to the day of the last one. The last one was July 15th. This one was I'm sorry, was what, July 17th or something like that. This one September 15th. So almost 2 months to the day of the last one. Two assassination attempts. And this is 5 days after last Tuesday's presidential debacle. 5 days after that, 2 months after the last one. What the hell is going on? Thankfully, the Secret Service had the antennas up and noticed it and shot at this person. But this is the second time in 2 months. How is this man able to get onto the grounds of Trump International? How? How did he know Trump was going to be there golfing? Why was he in Florida? There are so many questions that that need to be answered. It just doesn't make sense. Before I go any further, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications when I do videos on here. So here's what's being reported, and this is from Associated Press. So Mr. Ryan Wesley Routh, the suspect, he's 58 years old. He's facing charges of possessing a firearm despite a prior felony conviction for possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Additional charges are possible. He lived in North Carolina for most of his life before moving to Hawaii in 2018. So the past 6 years he lived out there. He and his son operated a company building sheds, according to an archived version of the webpage for the business. In the past, he posted he posted on social media about the war in Ukraine, and he created a website where he sought to raise money and recruit volunteers to go fight on behalf of Ukraine in their war against Russia. So he was a patriot for Ukraine in their fight against Russia. Interesting. And we all know how Trump feels about Ukraine, about this war between Ukraine and Russia. We know that Trump is not a fan of Zelensky. So keep that in mind. And this guy, obviously, according to these reports, obviously was, I should say. Fight and die to stop aggression, he posted on X in February of last year about Ukraine. Everyone should be outraged and helping. In a video circulating online, Ralph said, "This is about good versus evil." He also wrote separately on X, "I'm going to fight and die for Ukraine," and even traveled there. So again, this guy was a sympathizer for the Ukrainian cause in their war against Russia. He was very patriotic for Ukraine, pro Ukraine. I get it. Let's see here. There was a video shot by the Associated Press showed Ralph at a small demonstration on Kiev's Independence Square in April of 2022. 2 months after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered an invasion of the country. There was a placard that Ralph was holding that said, "We cannot tolerate corruption and evil for another 50 years. In Russia for our kids." Ralph wore a blue vest with the US flag on the back. First of all, why do you give a goddamn what's going on in Ukraine? You are an American citizen. Why are you fighting for their cause? But you know what? Whatever. To each their own. But I just find that strange. That same day, Ralph also visited a makeshift memorial to foreigners killed by Putin. Ralph never served in the Ukrainian military or Ukrainian army or worked with this military. Um, Ralph's politics don't appear consistently aligned to one party or the other. In June of 2020, he offered a post on X directed at then President Trump to say he would win re-election if he issued an executive order for the Justice Department to prosecute police misconduct. That same year, he also posted in support of the Democratic presidential campaign of then U.S. Representative Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, who has since left the party and endorsed Trump. So, however, in recent years, his post suggests he soured on Trump and he expressed support for President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. So he has expressed support for President Biden and VP Kamala Harris. Listen to that. Keep that in your head. In July, following an assassination attempt on Trump in Pennsylvania, Roth urged Biden and Harris to visit those wounded in the shooting at the hospital and to attend the funeral of a former fire chief killed at the rally. Voter records show he registered as an unaffiliated voter in North Carolina back in 2012. Most recently, voting in person during the state's Democratic primary in March of 2024, March of this year. Federal campaign finance records show Ralph made 19 small political donations totaling $140 since 2019 using his Hawaii address through a political action committee that supports Democratic candidates. Records show that while living in Greensboro, North Carolina, Roth had multiple run-ins with law enforcement. The top FBI official in the Miami, oh, I'm sorry, the top FBI official in Miami, Jeffrey B. Veltri, said Ralph has numerous felony charges for stolen goods between 1997 and 2010. He also was the subject of a closed investigation in 2019 when someone reported he was a felon in possession of a firearm, but Veltri said the tipster would not confirm making the report. Roth was Roth was convicted in 2002 of possessing a weapon of mass destruction. 2002. That was right after 9/11. Am I right or am I right about that? 2002 was right after 9/11, and this man had a weapon of mass destruction. According to online North Carolina Department of Adult Corrections records. It goes, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but the director of the Secret Service, Ronald Rowe Jr., said that Ralph did not have a line of sight to the former president and did not fire at Secret Service agents before fleeing. But the simple fact that this man was in, like I said a couple of minutes ago, the fact that this man was on the grounds, was able to get access to the grounds, was in the shrubbery, lying in wait for Trump. That's insane to me. And that he knew that Trump was going to be. I'm gonna say this: there's a mole in Trump's security detail. There's a mole. There has to be. What if the Secret Service agent did not see that gun? What if he didn't see it? We would have been having a whole different conversation. There would have been shots fired at former President Trump. And the fact that he started showing support, here's where the conspiracy theorist in me comes out. I may be wrong on this, and if I am, then I am. I've been wrong before. It happens. I'm human. We're not right about everything. We're just not. We learn as we get older. Well, we're supposed to. But this is my opinion on this, and my the conspiracy theorists coming out of me. So just bear with me. Is it possible that that the Harris team, um, I don't want to say has something to do with this, but I'm gonna say it. The hell with it. Do you think the Harris team has something to do with this? That they're in some way in cahoots with this? Because we know the Democrats would do anything and everything to win the election. I mentioned last week, well, Tulsi Gabbard, she was put on the what's it a terrorist watch list. She's a political opponent of Kamala Harris. Why was she put on terrorist watch list? Well, I think it was a secret terrorist watch list. I think that's what it was. Why was she put on this list? All because she said Kamala Harris is not qualified to be the next president of the United States. They put this woman on a secret terrorist watch list. Her and her husband were harassed every time they traveled. So it would not surprise me, and you cannot rule it out that the Harris campaign team would do any and everything to win an election. You cannot rule it out. You can't rule it out. I'm sorry. That's a conspiracy theorist coming out of me. So feel free to disagree with me. I know many of y'all will, but you can't rule anything out because it's just mighty funny to me that this happened for a second time in less than 60 days. Mighty funny. Mighty is not a coincidence. It's also not a coincidence this happened 5 days after the debate. And we know people are mad with Trump because of the whole thing, what he said about what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, with the illegal Haitian immigrants, them eating people's pets, which, by the way, is not a hoax. There was an actual town hall meeting last month in Springfield, Ohio, about people complaining about Haitian immigrants eating animals, ducks in the park, farm animals, roadkill, people's pets. There's been video. There's video of dead cats in in the yards of these immigrants and cats going missing. Their people's pets gone missing and being slaughtered, being eaten. There's video of it. I said the town hall meeting. There's a video of that. That just happened last month. So no, it's not a hoax. Just because it's not on CNN or MSDNC or ABC or CBS or NBC, just because it's not on those networks doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We got, of course, mainstream media, they're not going to report this. Of course they're not going to report it because mainstream media in this country they're liberal biased. They're liberally biased. They lean toward the left. It is what it is. Not just um, the television networks, but the newspapers too. The New York Times, USA Today, the Chicago Tribune, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Atlanta Journal Constitution, LA Times. All these big newspapers, the Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, they all lean toward the left. All lean toward the left. As like CNN, MSDNC, as we know, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, and CBS. They all lean toward the left. So of course they're not gonna report this. And people think, well, if it ain't on CNN or MSDNC, then it doesn't exist. That is callous and foolish because there are a lot of stories that mainstream media don't report. They didn't report about the armed Venezuelan gang members taking over a complex in Aurora, Colorado, but it existed, didn't it? They didn't report about, to my knowledge, they didn't report about Roger Fortson, the Air Force service member who was gunned down back in May, in front of his apartment. Well, in his apartment, they didn't report about that, but we all know it existed. They didn't report about the sister who just last week in Indianapolis was killed by an illegal, an Uber driver. He shot and killed this woman, dragged her body out of his vehicle, and proceeded to try to have sex with her corpse. Let me repeat that again. This terrorist piece of shit devil killed this sister, shot her in the head, drug her body out of his vehicle, and tried to have sex with her corpse. Necrophilia. That was reported in Indianapolis on their Fox affiliate, Fox 59, I believe, out of Indianapolis. Mainstream media didn't report that. Well, when I say mainstream media, I mean, the national networks, ABC News. They didn't report about this brother, Javion McGee, having a rope around his neck and dead in Henderson, North Carolina, just a few days ago. They didn't report about that, but it happened. So just because mainstream media don't report about stuff that um, you know, black owned, that people report online, or that you see, independent media companies or people who are sharing video are reporting. Just because mainstream media doesn't report it doesn't mean it's not happening. We have to get out of that mind frame. The most effective devil in America is the media. Media, most effective devil in America. So a lot of things they're not going to report, especially if it's true, because they want to hide it. They want to conceal it. That's why it's important to support platforms like mine and many others out there that are reporting things. Support us, support independent media. They need your support now more than ever before. But that's another story for, I don't want to get into that tangent. But I just find it strange that this man was able to get that access, or that, even though he was hundreds of yards away from Trump, but just the simple fact that he was able to get on those grounds. Imagine if that agent wasn't there. Thank God that he was. Thank God that the Secret Service did a better job than they did last time. But it's the third time going to be the charm now? Is there going to be a third attempt on him? I mean, come on. Hillary Clinton, the Clintons, Bill and Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and of course Joe Biden, they have more security presence around them than Trump does. And this man is running for president. Jimmy Carter probably has more security around him, and the man is on any day now. He can make his transition. The man is 99 years old. Jimmy Carter will be 100 next month if Allah permits it. The man will be 100 next month. He could go at any day now. He's incapacitated. He's a invalid. You know, the man's been around 99 years. He's in a convalescent home. Been in there for a couple of years now. So he could go at any moment. Former President Jimmy Carter, that is. He's the oldest living president in US history. He has more security around him than Trump does. And then Trump is running for president. It's just crazy. And I saw a report where they said it's, the Secret Service is they're spread thin because they got former President Clinton that they're securing, President Obama, former President Obama, the Clintons, both of them, uh, President Biden, and VP Harris. And she better be careful too, because it would not surprise me in this crazy, chaotic country that we're living in if someone tries to take her out, especially um, overzealous, ardent MAGA supporters. They try to take our man out twice, but we're going to take her out. Oh, here's another twist of irony. The Appalachian shooter, the Appalachian high school shooter from 2 weeks ago, and this guy, they both were in commercials for BlackRock. Isn't that crazy? They both were in commercials for BlackRock. Wow. Hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications on the new videos on here. This is crazy. I wonder is this going to galvanize support for Trump even more? Because he was there's been not one but two attempts on his life. The first one, the shooter got off some shots and Trump was hit by flying glass. The second one, Secret Service agent had his antennas up and was able to quell it. Thank God. Two in less than 60 days. Like I said a few minutes ago, you cannot rule out the Harris campaign. Investigators need to be questioning them. I'm sorry. I'm not saying she's responsible, but you can't rule anything out. She is a political adversary. You can't rule anything out, because one thing about the Democratic Party, they will do any and everything to win an election, and you can't rule out taking out another candidate. I'm sorry, you cannot rule it out. Two assassination attempts in 2 months. The first one, okay, I can see that, but a second one, and then 5 days after the presidential debate, no, I need to investigate this. The first time, okay, I could let it slide. Okay, they're not responsible for it. There's no reason. But the second one, no, we have to ask some questions. We're not saying that you did it or have anything to do with it, but we just want to investigate. We want to cross our T's and dot our I's. We want to be thorough on this because we don't want it to be a third time. Because election day is less than 60 days away. It's down what? So 50 something days? 50 something days away. So we got to be thorough on this. We got to cross our T's and dot our I's. We can't rule anything out. That's including the Harris campaign. We cannot rule it out. We cannot rule them out as being maybe, having something maybe to do with it. This guy was, he said he offered his support to Biden and Harris. He was disillusioned with Trump. I'm just saying, you cannot rule anything out. I'm not saying that Kamala Harris or her campaign team has something to do with this, but again, I keep reiterating, you cannot rule anything out. You have to do a thorough investigation. Why was this man on Trump's property? Why was this man lying in wait for Trump? How did he know Trump was going to be out there on the links? You cannot, you just can't rule it out. 12 hours? How did he get access? Doesn't Trump International, don't they have security? I'm telling you, there's a mole. There's a mole somewhere. There's a mole in his security team. And I have never seen anything like this in my lifetime. In my 48 years on this earth, I did, well, I'll take that back. I was alive when Ronald Reagan was shot. I was 5 years old. I vaguely remember it. Because I remember it being all on TV, all on the radio, and my parents being glued to the TV and hearing about what was going on. So I vaguely remember. I was 5 years old. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was just an old white man got shot, and it was the president. And he had just got inaugurated. Just got inaugurated. It was, when did Reagan get shot? Believe it was in March of 1981. March of 1981. I believe it was in March. He had just got inaugurated. Just got inaugurated. Just got into the White House, and the man is getting shot. How insane is that? He almost died, but he survived. So I vaguely remember that did happen in my lifetime. I was 5 years old, but I've never, ever in my lifetime witnessed a presidential candidate survive two assassination attempts in 2 months. I've never, ever heard of that, or even in my lifetime. A presidential candidate surviving two assassination attempts in 2 months. That's never happened in the history of this country. That's insanity. And it goes to, there's a mole somewhere in Trump's security team, whether it be in the Secret Service and Trump International. Something's rotten. There's a mole. But I'm glad that they caught this guy. I'm glad that the Secret Service agent had his antennas up, because last time in Pennsylvania, the antennas weren't up until it was too late. But I'm glad they were up this time. But again, there is a mole, there's a leak in that security. Someone is being treasonous. They're leaking out information. It's no way in hell this man should have had that, even though he was 500 yards away, but still, that's still too close. It's no way in hell that man should have been on that property. He should have been able to get access, to be hiding, laying in wait. AK-47 with the scope, and he had a GoPro camera, and he had food, snacks out there camping out in the shrubbery. That's insane. And why was he in Florida? How did he know Trump was going to be there? There's a leak in that security detail somewhere. Information is being leaked, and you can't rule anything out. You have to investigate Kamala Harris's campaign team. I'm sorry, you have to do it. I know people will disagree with me, call me a conspiracy theorist. That's cool, but I'm just saying, you have to, you cannot rule it out. I worked in security for 15 years. I did law enforcement duty when I was in the Air Force. You cannot rule these things out. I'm just saying. Hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications on the new videos on here. I'm gonna hop off of here on this note. I hope I was able to make my point well known. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments. Let's have a conversation. Share this video. Share it, share it, share it. Let's share it. Let's have a conversation. Support my YouTube channel here. It'd be greatly appreciated. Support my podcast. I need y'all love and support because I cannot do it without y'all. I really cannot. And I mean that sincerely. So please continue to support your brother. We don't have to agree, but let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Please. That's all I ask. Let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. That's all I ask. In our disagreements, let's use logic and respect, not emotion and disrespect. Let's do that, y'all. Y'all be safe out here. Please be safe. You see, the former president has been shot at 2 months ago, and if it wasn't for a Secret Service agent, he would have been shot at again. So if they could, you know, try to take him out, what do you think the devil try to do to us? So just be safe, brothers as well as sisters. Be safe, beware, and be aware. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. So please be safe. Whether you're taking your children to school, picking them up, going to work, coming home, running errands, whatever the case may be, please be safe. I love y'all and take care. I'm out. Assalamu alaikum.